everybody, welcome to another episode of our Duotone Foiling Tech Talks. I'm Klaas and I'm standing here with Jerome Bonnier, our foil designer. And what we are talking about today is something not 100% finished. We don't have the final product here, but we have the final prototype here. So Jerome, it's very long. What is it?
It's very long and it's very skinny. So this is the new Hyperglide. It's our glide on steroids, basically.
So that's pure downwind
performance
weapon.
Competition, something the Spencer brothers have been pestering us for a couple of months already. They needed something to win competitions, basically.
That will do.
And hopefully that'll do the trick.
Geez, that's a weapon, huh? What's the aspect ratio of this?
I mean, depending on if you take into account the little wingtips and everything, we are about 14.6 aspect ratio, so very, very high. 680 square centimeters. And so very sort of straight outline for maximum efficiency. And what's quite unique is the profile we used. Funnily enough, it's a profile, a similar profile to something we tested a couple of months back on one of our Dockstart Wing. Profile that was showing really good, like really high lift to drag ratios, which is kind of the holy grail when you want a downwind. You want maximum lift, minimum drag, and just carry that lift forward, basically. So yeah, it was a first profile we tried on a dock starter, which for dock starting, the sort of complete low end was not quite there compared to other profiles we had. But in that particular case where you're going a little bit faster, it's amazing. It feels super, super slippery and has a lot of lift. So the Spencer guys, they are sort of very, very skilled, but they commented how easy it was to just paddle up on flat water.
They paddled this up in Maliko Bay.
Yeah, first try. And
yeah.
The thing it has a lot of lift, obviously. And we tried actually a lot of things on these wings. We started around 12.6 aspect ratio on the first protos, and then we went up to 13.5, and then we went to 14.5, and as we kept going up in aspect ratio, they just got better and better and better. So then we worked on different wingtips. You remember we had the sort of pretty vertical wingtips, which were nice, but not perfect at sort of popping out of the water and coming back in. In the end, we went for these sort of flatter.
Very subtle.
Yeah, just a subtle little wingtip that sort of sweeps back a little bit, and that seems to work really well. We tried also cutting them off, remember, without the wingtips and sort of comparing all that.
But what do these do? They're reducing drag.
Yeah, they're reducing that sort of vortex that's happening as your wing like finishes. You've got a low pressure and high pressure underneath the wing, and that sort of induces a little sort of vortex drag. Okay. So it's just a way to minimize that. We see that on all the airplanes and etc. Just make it a little cleaner there, that release at the end of the wing, a little bit cleaner. And this is obviously the prototypes that we use. So we can bolt, we've got different fuselages with different length, sort of front neck. We can push the wing a little bit further away from the mast, bring it a little bit closer, and it allows us to really fine tune it to exactly what we want. We can obviously play with the angle of attack, and we've done all that testing now, and we found the sort of sweet combo. And
which is this one?
Yeah, which is this particular profile, and at the right length from the mast and everything. So that's all coming in now in a DLAB super sleek design with the tails. So you can still play around with the shorter 37 or the longer 43 tail. And you can still play around with our H stabilizers. Go down to the smaller 125, which is kind of the Spencer's choice for pretty much everything.
They always want to go smaller. They're asking now for below 100.
Yeah.
I personally must say I've been winging and then flagging the wing, pumping these wings, and it's impressive how good they pump, how good they keep going. And I did some tests with the watch, seeing how I could accelerate the pump, and it was just flagging the wing at 13 knots, pumping, 16 knots, just accelerating up. That was just flat water pumping.
Yeah.
And that was pretty impressive. And these back wings do their thing, obviously. In 125, 145, 165 is probably the ones that you would opt for.
Yeah. I think we're specifying the 680 with the 145 as a kind of do-it-all.
Yeah.
But like for example, the Spencers will tell you that they will want to go down to the 125. If you want to wing and go a little bit faster on the wing, you might want to go to the 165 actually. Just helps keeping the nose of your board up as you're sort of pushing that front wing a little bit out of its intended speed range.
But it's not, you say winging, it's not targeted at wingers, right? It's like downwind.
It's a downwind performance paddling, but turns out it feels super nice winging on it. Probably don't want to jump that thing too hard because
not at all.
It's pretty thin and there's a long span. And to be honest, it's not something that we've really tried to punish.
Don't jump it.
Yeah, we will probably put some kind of warning about going easy on this one. It's not a freestyle wing. That's
sure not.
It's meant to just go fast downwind. So we've got to keep that in mind.
This is the 680.
Yep.
And you've just been fine-tuning and working on the final version of the bigger one.
Yep. We've just approved now yesterday actually. The 880 is also in production. So. That's going to be a lot more sort of approachable for mere mortals out there.
I'm really looking forward to that thing. I got into downwind paddling, I would say, still between kook and average level.
Yeah.
Really like the glide for it. And this is a little bit out of my league to paddle this up. But the 880, when I see the pumping efficiency of this 680, then I can imagine that 880 will just be just fine for me, even in my local kind of lake wave waters, and I think that will be a really good weapon for a lot of people downwinding with average level even.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what our team riders manage to do with these wings in the coming comps. But I'm pretty confident. I think we've got something very fast, and
obviously the boys tested against what's out there. And we're really stoked.
We're not going to name any brands, but so far we haven't found anything that sort of matches the level of that wing. So we're pretty stoked. And of course, we've sort of developed a new mast as well to complement these wings because all our masts are relatively thick. They're meant to be strong and light. So we've got a bit of thickness there. Our DLAB masts traditionally are just under 17 millimeters of thickness. But of course, that's one of the things that, for example, the Spencer brothers were asking for, basically thin out everything we could, which makes sense. So now we've got a new 76 DLAB 2.0 mast.
So you guys should probably check out the talk we do on the new DLAB masts coming.
It's kind of optimized for downwinding in terms of the length. We've talked a bunch to them what sort of length would be ideal, and in the end we found that 76 was short enough to be sort of efficient, low drag, but long enough that you're not touching the waves. So we managed to. We'll get into more details about the mast, but it's basically a 13.5 millimeter thick mast with a very short cord length, which actually is amazing. It just brings the setup one step further.
Yeah.
And super excited with this one. And
All right. By the time you guys see this Tech Talk series, there's going to be the final one. You've probably seen some pictures, videos sneaking out before this one even, with the integrated fuse part of the front, and hopefully we get some good results from some of the races happening. Downwind scene is growing and growing. The interest is insane. So we spent a lot of R&D effort actually on this product.
Way too much,
Really a lot of simulations, tons of prototypes to be right at the top level of where this downwind performance is going. So
what we talk to each other is, if we're going to do it, we have to do it right. We can't go halfway. So we took the time, and but we are really happy with the result. So
great. Thanks for all the insights, Jerome. I hope
Cool.
you guys find this content helpful. If you do, leave us a like and comment if you have questions. Subscribe to the channel so you also get news on, for example, the DLAB 2.0 mask, which would be the perfect match for this. So, and I hope to see you in the next episode.